This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, if it's Tuesday, it is movie reviews and more. I've been looking forward for this show for a long time, so I got to say hi to everybody out there. A couple friends in Germany, a couple friends in Canada, obviously. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is movie reviews and more, and we are live on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, every outlet around the world. And it's good to have everybody back. Terry Marie will be jumping in nonstop. And one of the things I wanted to do, I definitely had to want to invite this young lady on from Texas. She's become a good friend now. She's not really anybody special, but she's got a special thing kind of going on. It's the one and only Angelica Robles. So, and her book is coming out pretty soon. I'll let her talk about that. But tonight she's going to be a co-host because I wanted her to specifically be on because her book is coming out November 16th. She's got a bunch of stuff coming on and all the way live. So I've been waiting for David. David's one of our good friends. I'm honored to know him. You know, he's the founder of Omega International Group, a private security firm specializing in sports. Hi, Michelle Lee out of Canada. Hey, Roberto was on there too. So with all of that, you know, he's a veteran of the United States Marine. He's worked at the Pentagon, worked at the White House, worked for President Clinton. He's done a lot of good stuff. He's worked at over 3,000 things he's done here, high-profile events. Let's see, the Grammy Museum, the Oscars, 3 times with the Lakers, 3 times, I think, with the Los Angeles Chargers, let's put it that way. So there's a lot of things that he's done, but what I really like is how he's got that 5-diamond protection agency. You know, that's what I really like. All right, so the one and only, here's David Perez. David, it's good to have you here at Movie Reviews and More on our live Tuesday night show because we haven't had you on our Tuesday night live show.
No, glad to be here. Thank you, Brian.
Hey, so let's kick this off. Let's talk about you. All the things that you've done. Obviously, we got to thank you for your service because you were in the Marines. So it's all about that. Talk about what's going on now in the world and the United States. It's not getting any better. It's getting a lot worse. How are you handling a lot of stuff, and what's going on in celebrity worlds when it comes to your protection with Omega?
Yeah, well, it's obviously we had a trying time with this pandemic. This pandemic pretty much changed a lot of our personal and professional lives with the lockdowns, with the political, establishment. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with Trump leaving office, now Biden's in office. So there's a lot of political stuff going on. You have somewhat the country divided. You have especially here in California, we have a district attorney that doesn't want to prosecute a lot of petty crime, has actually downsized felonies to now misdemeanors or even citations. So it's been a pretty challenging time here in California. I can speak on that. And that's the property crime is through the roof. Mm-hmm. Home invasions, burglaries, car break-ins. Everybody's been affected in every neighborhood. And I'm pretty much out in the streets every day, talking to a lot of clients and a lot of the community, and they all share the same frustrations, the same fears, the same challenges. And that's, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? Is it going to get any better? And it's unfortunately going to get worse before it gets better. It always does. Mm-hmm. And it's up to everybody's responsibility now. It's not, your safety is not someone else's problem. It's not, well, I'll call 911 or I'll rely on the police. With the defund the police movements, and there's cities that are now actually defunding the police. it's up to everybody to take ownership of their own safety at their home and wherever they work and even out in the public. So it's now more than ever, you have to take ownership of your own safety.
It's one of those things where you talk about how you started this, and who were your first two clients. Let's start there. And then let's go into January of last year being in the bubble. And what was it, Orlando, Florida with the NBA? Talk about that.
Sure. I mean, I originally was working at another firm and spent 5 years with the Lakers. I was blessed to have the 3 years with Kobe and Shaq during that championship time, that championship run. It was amazing, amazing time. And I actually met a movie producer who said, if you start your own company, I'll be your first client. And I thought, wow. So I called a friend of mine who was in law school at the time. And I said, hey, I need to start a company. I'm going to need your help. And so long story short, we started a company within a few months. That producer became my first client. He's still my client to this day. And the one thing that we wanted to do, we looked at the private security industry. We say, okay, how can we differentiate ourselves? Everybody has military and law enforcement background. That's not, everybody has that. So what can we do different? And one thing that we noticed and we heard from a lot of clients was security was too rigid. They were too militaristic. So we thought, wow, we'll add in the customer service part of it, but not only just customer service. We went to the Bellagio, we went to L'Hermitage. We spent a lot of time in Beverly Hills. We're based in Beverly Hills. And we went to these 5-star establishments and said, hey, how do you keep clients returning? What's that wow factor that you give to them that they want to come to your hotel? And they taught us a lot about the Five Diamond industry, the customer service that was kind of unique to the industry. And as simple as that may sound, we push that forward. So when I meet with clients, it's a given that our staff and myself have military and law enforcement background, but I really don't sell that because that everybody is selling that. What I sell them is you're going to be safe and comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you're really not going to be safe. And security then becomes a burden. So our niche is in the luxury market. So when we meet with these luxury hotels that we have as clients, when we meet with these high net worth clients, billionaire clients, they get the safe and comfortable because their staff is top notch. It's very white glove service, and we integrate very easily into into that sector. And clients are blown away when we talk that way because they'll tell us, hey, no security company has come and ever talked that way, bringing Five Diamond, bringing white glove service. So that's unique.
So Nonstop jumped in. It's been a while since Terry, since you've seen David. So Angelica, talk about this. You guys have both been working in the government when it comes kind of things. Talk about working in the private sector for you and your book coming out. And then I know you got a question for David. I could just see it coming through those brown eyes.
Yeah, so book is about to drop. I'm super excited about the book dropping. We're practically down to literally 4 weeks and like 2 days, 3 days, something like that. And so I'm excited about it. Worked for the government, did undercover work, did interrogations. A lot of my background is, national security, terrorism, drug dealing, all that fun stuff. Really one-on-one interrogations. And so after I parted ways, then I started my own company in 2017. And so now I get contracted by the government to do high-risk interrogations and investigations and obviously national security cases. So the book has all that in there, how I started, my childhood, my traumas, working undercover, all the crazy things that happened during undercover work, and of course, all the fun things that happened during that time. And then leading up to getting transferred to Houston, and then eventually my marriage ending. So a lot of really good stuff and a lot of sad things, but it's a really, really good read. I think people are really going to enjoy it. And ideally, this will become an international bestseller, and we're hoping to make it into a film. So that's what we got going on. So, and I could say this, listening to what David was saying, working for yourself, and you're pretty much like the concierge of security. When when you're the master of your craft, it's effortless. You know what I mean? If you have that experience, people will come to you. You don't even have to go to them. Just like how he was saying, he doesn't have to really push the law enforcement, military background. when people know the quality of work that you produce and they can see it, they just come to you. Kind of like when I started my company, they knew the quality of work that I was producing. They knew what kind of level of interrogation I had. And so it's just, people will just come to you. It's almost effortless. So, and I think David could attest to that is, you know, when you have a passion for something and you have a mastery for something, it's just effortless. And, you know, sometimes you're like, is this really work? Because it's just so, you know, so fluid. And I think that's, you know, the beautiful thing about being a business owner. So.
Yep, you hit it right on the nail on the head, Angelica. And it's interesting because I was asked the other day, if you could be working your dream job, what would that be? And I said, you know, I grew up watching the A-Team. You know, the A-Team were mercenaries that rescue people in distress. I grew up watching James Bond movies, and I'm living that lifestyle. And I says, I'm working my dream job. I haven't, you know, I haven't really worked that hard in my entire life because I'm working my fantasy job. We get to help people. We get to rescue people. You know, we work kidnapping cases. We work, you know, very high risk assignments. And it's that stuff that I watched growing up as a kid. And to able to practice that in real life, it's so much fun. And like Angelica said, it's when you own your own company, you own your own business, you're doing what you're extremely passionate about. It's fun. You wake up energized every day. You look for the challenges every day, and it's so exciting.
And I'll tell you this is why our jobs are really, really fun, because it's never a dull moment, right? And it's never the same. You never see the same people. You never deal with the same stories. It's ever changing, and it is just so fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people ask me, you've probably seen it all. I says, you know, I've seen a lot, but there's so much new every day because of the internet, because of social media. It's something new every day.
Right. I mean, now everything is, you know, in the book I explain about when I was doing undercover work. I did old school undercover. I mean, we had the camcorders. We didn't have the pings. You know, I'm older than I look. We didn't have the pings. We didn't have, you know, Facebook was barely out. MySpace was barely out. You know, we did old school surveillance where we're like in the bushes. Now surveillance is so much different because we live in a digital world. But I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, surveillance now is practically effortless because everybody is checking in. Everybody's taking pictures of their food, taking pictures of where they're at. It's like, you're telling me where you're at. I don't even have to go find you. So.
Well, it's one of those things where Terry and I talk about these things all the time. I want her to be careful. I care about her sometimes, but it's one of those things where, you know, sorry, Terry, I'll be nice to you today.
I mean, I believe in the Second Amendment. I know I own and I know how to. No, look, I know how to use a gun. I was taught to use a gun at 12 years old. I used to go hunting with my dad. People probably don't know that. So, as a woman, I think it's important to know how to defend yourself. So, I mean, some people might not agree with me. Some people don't like guns. I personally was raised around guns. I know how to be responsible around guns. So I'm glad that I know how to protect myself, if that makes any sense. But my dad also taught me archery when I was a kid too. So I come from, you know, a kid growing up in California. I learned to hunt.
Game of Thrones. Or what is it? It's like Game of Thrones over there.
Game of Thrones, yeah. Well, we used to go to, there's a park, Balboa Park. I'm going to date myself here too. But you used to be able to go out there and do archery. So I learned that as a young age too. So again, you know, I carry pepper spray. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, I was a victim of assault by my ex-husband. So you don't know where assault can come from, you know. And I think the danger now is the internet. That's where, I mean, people are being cyber stalked. And what Angelica just said, people find out where you are because people are careless and they're like, oh, I'm at this restaurant, you know, and then, you know, your stalker shows up there. So you just have to be careful with your surroundings, what you post, you know how to defend yourself, whether that be, you know how to use a gun, whether you know how to do martial arts. I'm just a strong proponent of that. And again, David had mentioned, you know, the defund the police thing, which to me, the police saved my life from my ex-husband. If the police weren't there, I'd be dead. So, you know, we need protection. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents, whether people like it or not. That's my my feelings on all that.
Hey, got to say hi to Teresa from Sabin Marketing. But, you know, this goes back to David, where I always hear David's voice in my ears when it comes to social media. not
Mhm.
posting. You will never see me post things or where we're going or what we're doing.
Yeah.
You'll see photos afterwards, but I found out from 2015 when he was, doing our Hollywood Film Festival and the Chinese dignitaries were there, and Terry was there for this. There's so much stuff that goes behind the scenes that you shouldn't see, and if it's pulled off, you won't see, and you may never know what happened.
Mhm.
And I just remember running by David after I was doing interviews in the green room, and he was just standing there with this look on his face. I've never seen him so serious before, but he was doing his job and just made me laugh. But David, talk about this internet stalking. It's gotten worse, and we've been doing shows not on, particularly on bullying, but you see a lot of this. And I remember you were the first person that I heard this going back to 2015, 16 on never posting what you're doing, protection for women, those single CEOs on going through their homes and making sure that everything is protected. Talk to you about that because they always let their hands down, driving, not paying attention, driving out and people following them.
Yeah, I mean, we all obviously with the power now of social media, we all want to brand ourselves. Everybody wants to, check in or say where they're at, and we've always, based on our experiences, tell a lot of owners and actresses and models that don't post in real time because, like you said, if someone wants to stalk you, like Angelica said, it's so easy. We don't have to follow you. We don't have to, long hours of surveillance. Pull up the social media, pull up your Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use, and we can see where you're at. So we always caution people, do it the next day, or even when you get home, then post what you did that day, where you were, because now your safety in your house. And at the same time, your home is your castle, and you should have some. You should do your own assessment. We do assessments on homes and where you live, but do your own assessment. Do I have enough lighting when I get home? Is it too dark? Stay off your phone. Walk with confidence when you get out of your car to go to your house, or when you're leaving your shoot, or you're leaving the site where you're at, and be aware of your surroundings. I just came from Florida, as Brian said. I was in the bubble with the NBA and the soccer MLS to start sports back up during the pandemic. Very interesting, very fun. And I also was in New York, and I can tell you that obviously New York is a very busy place. They have a lot of problems right now as well. And I've seen a lot of. I was in a seminar there, and we basically said the same thing. When you're out and about, be aware of your surroundings because you're glued to your phone. You're not paying attention. You become an easy target, and the bad guys size you up. Are you going to be a predator or victim? And the predators know that, hey, you're walking around with your head buried in your phone, you're going to become a victim.
Yeah, I have another question about social media because this, as far as where you're at, a lot of times there's apps that you can take that people can put in their phone that will tell you people location. So people need to be aware of that too. If you're posting pictures that people, it's really easy for people to find your locations. It's really scary, and you don't even have to post where you're at.
Yeah, and this past summer as well, because of the pandemic, obviously people were sitting home. They had a lot more time on their hands. And what hackers are doing, because most of us are lazy, so we'll use our same password for our email, to our Instagram, to our Facebook, because it's easy to remember one password for 5 different logins, and they'll easily exploit that. And once they get one login, they got your whole entire life. And I got so many calls that, hey, I'm being hacked. I'm hacked. My account. What do we do?
I've been hacked.
Yeah, and you have to change your passwords, and be aware that you can go on the dark web and you can hire somebody to hack somebody. So for $200, you can pay somebody that will get all your information and hack into your life, and that's pretty scary.
I was just, my TikTok was hacked probably about 6 months ago, and then they tried to hack other accounts, and it became a complete nightmare. They went in there and erased videos, upload videos, and it's crazy what people are able to do.
So would you recommend, they got apps now that you can manage your passwords and all that. Would you recommend something like that?
Like the authenticator?
Yeah, I personally don't save any passwords to my computer because your computer can get hacked, and now someone has all your passwords to every login that you have. I do it old school because I work alongside of cybersecurity experts, and they said, hey, put your passwords down on a sheet of paper, put that booklet in your safe, and lock it up at night. And that way, if you forget your password, it's in my safe. And if someone hacks my computer, or I lose it, or I lose my phone somewhere, you just can't easily log in and get all my passwords. It's convenient for most people, but just note that Google is storing your information. somebody else behind that can look at it. And again, someone that hacks into your account can get all of your passwords. And to me, that's pretty scary. I'd rather just have it written down or in my head. So that you can't hack by brain, but you can hack by computer.
Yeah,
you're actually supposed to change your passwords. This is government protocol. I'm sure David knows this. You're supposed to change your passwords every 3 months, and it's a lot of work, but that's how we do it in the government. And you're supposed to change it every 3 months, and you're supposed to use a number, uppercase, and then special characters. So, for instance, an example would be like, let's say you had squeaky chair, right? And it's got to be like a phrase. It's not supposed to be like your cat's name or your son's birthday. Like, it's supposed to be something that's hard. So like squeaky chair, you would do like, the E would be a 3, and then the A would be an @ sign. So it has to be more difficult. And there's actually trainings on it where they tell you the harder the password, the harder it takes for the hacker to infiltrate it. So yeah.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is, as crazy as this may sound, don't use a password that's in the dictionary, the word that's in the dictionary. So if that word is in the dictionary, then these hackers have programs where eventually it takes a couple minutes. It'll sort through and find out what your password is. So you're gonna look at very long and more characteristics and more wobbly letters, and it makes no sense. It may sound like a drunken that's typing at 3 a.m, but that should be your password because it'd be a lot harder to hack.
Right.
Hey, David, are you seeing a lot more high-profile people coming towards you now? Because you're obviously you're a member of the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce, and you do a lot of great things. And like I said, I'm always telling people about what you do and how you started, because I'm honored to know you, and then plus you do a great job. Again, that 5 diamond experience,
Yeah, when the pandemic hit, right when it shut down, I had a lot of calls from a lot of high profile people that said, first, how long do you think this is going to last? I said, this is probably going to last a year. Nobody believed this. They're like, this is not going to last a year. There's no way. Give it a couple of weeks. Can you come to our house for a couple of weeks? I said, look, this is not a couple of weeks thing. This is going to be something that's big, and it's going to go on for a very long time. And then once the civil unrest happened, everything that we told our clients and in the media that was going to happen happened. And then at that point, it just reinforced what we've been talking about the last few years. And now our phone was ringing off the hook. I remember probably for about 3 or 4 days straight, I had no sleep because my phone was literally ringing off the hook. People needed security now. We need it now. We need it here. We need it there. We had calls from Bel Air. They were home invade. You see, when the riots happened, there was agitators and there's criminals in those riots. So the rioters were looting, doing criminal activity. And then you had the gangs that came in to Beverly Hills. They were doing home invasions to Bel Air and Beverly Hills. Most of the high net worth clients with gates, they leave their house unlocked. So now we were trying to re-educate some of these clients to lock their doors, lock their gates, and then have armed security, which we've been talking about for years. So as you said, Brian, we got a lot of high profile calls from people.
You know what's really crazy? I'm sure you all have heard, a lot of celebrities get these crazy stalkers. Kendall Jenner, she had a crazy stalker, and I think the guy entered her house. And then, you start thinking, how are these people getting into these $1 million mansions with these people with deep pockets that are able to hire David and have all types of security and dogs and lasers and whatnot? But these people still get in. And the reason why they get in is because people put their guards down. That's the problem. Is they're like, oh, you know what? Today I'm not going to turn on the alarm. It's too much work, or whatever it is that happened that day. And it's when that stuff happens. I mean, same thing with what happened to Kim over in what was it, Perez, or when they were in Perez. I mean, like, that stuff is insane. And then there's insiders, just like David has seen, people who are like, for the right amount of money, I'll let you in. So.
Yeah, we even had a client in Bel Air who lived next door to a very high profile R&B artist. The client said, look, I'm old money. You can Google my family, but we're essentially nobodies in the media. You have never heard of us unless you actually Google us. However, we have people trying to sneak into this artist's house. So they're using our property. They sneak in our property, then they go to his property.
That's crazy.
That is, yeah, exactly. Cryptic password. Yep, exactly. Talk
It's
about this, David. What's been going on with the chamber and things like that? Because I think that's the last time I saw you was me, Terry, and a couple other
Mhm.
people there. I mean, a lot of things have changed, and they will never go back to the way they were.
Yeah, well, the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce, they just started having events again this past month. We had the mayor's city address last week, which went very well. They're doing the monthly breakfasts again. There's another one this Friday. What's interesting is if you've had the vaccine, you can not wear your mask. It's voluntary. If you hadn't had the vaccine, you're supposed to wear your mask. Hollywood has mandated, regardless of you had a vaccine or not, you got to show proof of vaccine to have an event there. So it's, and then there's supposed to be, mandates this past week of, you got to show your vaccine to to be indoors at a restaurant or sporting events. I know Staples Center is asking for a vaccine, so it's very interesting what's going on in the world with these mandates, and it's challenging. And these companies are all saying, "Hey, who's gonna check?" And if you're checking, how am I going? I'm not a doctor. How am I going to verify that you have a medical condition that's an exemption, or you have a religious exemption? How do we differentiate between that? And then, is your vaccine card real? Is it fake? I mean, there's a lot of challenges going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of those things where I think we talked in the beginning of the year. I said I wasn't going to get mine until the end of the summer at the earliest, and I saw things changing. I'm like, okay, now it's time to do it. And I was around a lot more people, and I knew where I was. I'm still doing things safely, and I didn't want to take any of those chances. So I totally understood. Are guns illegal in Beverly Hills? Okay, yes. Go ahead, David.
yes,
That's a question
yes,
for you.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, the good thing is if you have a permit, meaning you have an exposed permit like security guards carry, it's legal, and Beverly Hills falls under LA County. One thing about LA County, which is run by Sheriff Villanueva, he's done a great job in admitting with the defunded police. He's openly said, "I can't protect our citizens," and he's actually for the first time in I think LA County's history has loosened the CCW application process. So now I encourage everybody, if you live in LA County, apply for a concealed weapons permit, which is a CCW, because
Mhm.
the sheriff understands the crime is through the roof. And he has said, I cannot protect everybody. And
Mhm.
so I tell citizens, if you're legally allowed to carry a gun, take an 8-hour course and go apply and protect yourself.
That's what I said earlier. As a woman, I feel safer knowing how to use a firearm. I just think it's important. I mean, I don't understand why people don't want. I mean, again, it's for protection because I don't know, who's going to break into my house, and if I call the police, they don't show up. I want to be able to protect myself. I want to be able to do it responsibly. But again, I strongly feel like you need to know how to protect yourself, especially in today's times. And I think Angelica's nodding her head. So
Yeah, I agree. My
Mhm.
my my
Mhm.
5-year-old knows how to take the magazine in and out, and she knows how to shoot a firearm. So
Yeah, my dad's passed away, but like my dad taught me and my brother how to defend ourselves at a young age, because you never know. So that's why.
See, I'm more from the martial arts point of view. I'm more hand to hand and Filipino fighting stick. So I'm always like carrying things, looking for the nearest thing to pick up because when I'm walking the streets, I might be going to my storage or something like that later. There's more people out, and it looks like you're in Vegas
Mhm.
on the strip at like 4 or 5 in the morning, but it's still. And I see more people out there, David, but they got mental problems now, and a lot of this
Mhm.
is really more mental. And you can be taught, you just be sitting by yourself, and someone comes up and sits next to you and gets into your face. And getting into anybody's face, you immediately want to turn around and smack that person, and then you're in an altercation, and then your whole day is gone. Because you just don't know what's going to happen, and it's madness. Talk
Well,
about
you
that.
you can, oh, I just want to add one thing though for women out there. You can carry your car key in between your finger here. So I walk around and I carry it that way in case I'm attacked and somebody comes. At least I've got something that. So and that's something I've been doing forever, and along with carrying pepper spray. I mean, again, like I just don't. I mean, I'm always aware of my surroundings because David said And Angelica said, that's when this stuff happens. As soon as you let your guard down, these predators know. So
yeah, I would say the first thing to do is avoid
mm-hmm.
any type of scenario, and as kind of that easy as that may sound, if you're aware of your surroundings, you can see things unfolding in front of you if you're paying attention. You can see somebody who looks crazy, or someone who's staring at you, or someone that's making you feel uneasy. Go the other way, or just leave that area completely. Um, Again, you have to be aware of your surroundings. That's probably number one. If you feel you're gonna get into confrontation, leave. Don't play the macho card. Don't think, well, I gotta defend myself now because this person challenged me in front of my friends or in front of the public. If you can walk away and leave and let that person scream and yell by themselves, definitely get out of there. And really defend yourself. It's a last resort. If you can't leave, if you're trapped, or this person actually now is attacking you, that's a different ballgame. And I'll give you a quick story. When I was in New York, in beginning of July, and I went into a gift shop that was right across the street from Central Park. I go in there, I'm the only person in there, and then um, a couple walked in behind me, and then a gentleman off the street came in, screaming and yelling. He was trying to take her bag. So I was like, okay, I wasn't armed, but I was in the store, and I was mainly probably 6 or 7 feet from him, and I was actually looking at a Statue of Liberty, like, trophy-sized statue as a souvenir. So I picked that up. I said, okay, if this guy comes towards me, I'm going to bust this over his head, and that's going to be game over. But he turned and looked at me, but he looked at me and said, this guy looks like a predator himself. I'm going to go back to this lady. And I was going to help this lady out, but the shop owner came, got the guy out of the store. We were both there. And he said, this guy's known to mug people and rob people in the area. He's well known. And he says, fortunately, he was apologizing that this happened. I says, no, I'm from Los Angeles. I want the full experience. It's not a big deal. We go through this all the time where I live. So I said, but again, I was I was a tourist. I was there to buy something. I was unarmed, but at the same time, I grabbed something that was next to me that I know that I could use as a weapon just in case this guy came at me. And just being quickly prepared for a few seconds, the guy left. But when I was in New York, I was pretty much highly on alert at the whole time. And the homeless problem there is really out of control compared to Los Angeles. And it was at times I felt uneasy. At times I left certain areas just because I didn't feel right. And I listened to my intuition. I listened to my instincts. That's big.
Hey, Roxy, what's happening where you live? And because you're in Ohio, and I haven't been in Ohio in a while. Are you seeing a lot of the same kind of situation there too?
Yeah, I don't think as much. There's definitely a lot of crime in the area, of course. Being where 70 and 70 actually cross, there's a lot of the crime in the area. But I've always taught myself too to be on standby and know my surroundings and always be aware to protect myself in case something happens. But then we go back to that scenario of don't put yourself in situations that it's possible that you're going to get harmed. So I'm pretty good at that. But there are times where I'm out late at night and doing something, and I've got to keep that in mind in the back of my head. But I do not think it's quite like New York with the homeless situations over there. I don't think it's quite like California. We're kind of a Midwestern state that doesn't see a whole lot of it, but we still have it.
Yeah, interesting. So, David, what do you have coming up between now and the end of the year? Because you guys are always busy, and we're getting ready to go into Giving Tuesday and the Hollywood holiday season, I should say. Talk about those things.
Yeah, we'll be busy between now and the end of the year with the holidays coming up, with the award season coming up. We have the Super Bowl coming up. So there's a lot of stuff already we're in talks of. So our plate is pretty full, and it's just, we're very blessed to be busy. And with things, I don't want to say back to normal, but with events opening up, it's gotten very busy for us.
Is the events that you do now, is there a difference between the past and currently we're adding virtual features to everything, and we're adding the uprisal of the COVID and a lot of people making their own statements and all that. Is there a difference now from back then when things were a little more simpler?
Yeah, well, obviously pre-pandemic, I think life was simpler, but now there's some people that are protesting, not as much. I think that's died down a little bit. I think now people are protesting whether they want to get vaccinated or not. That's kind of the big topic out here. But for the most part, the events that I've been at the last month, they've gone pretty smooth, no issues. It's just now, how do we move forward with these LA counties now mandated, and how do you get around it? Can you get around it? Are you going to be fined if you don't follow protocols? So that's kind of where the event planners and the kind of the establishment are just, it's still kind of week to week how we're trying to figure it out.
I kind of think that they're going to backfire. I'm kind of hoping that these mandates just kind of end. It's not, in my personal opinion, it's not going to do anything but make things worse. I think that there's going to be fights and all kinds of stuff because people are, angry about it. That I don't see anything good coming out of it. That's just my opinion here in LA. And talking to friends of mine, I don't think it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, just you saw Pride in New York, but was it like a week or so ago that there was an altercation at a restaurant over a vaccine and wear a mask. Those type of situations can escalate very quickly. So you're right.
I see it as a horrible. And I also know business owners that are against it because they're already hurting. They've already lost money. They're not in they don't need to lose more money. And the people that are going to protest or that are not going to get vaccinated are not going to get vaccinated. I just, again, this is my personal opinion, talking to business owners and talking to other people. I think it's a big mistake here in LA to do it.
I think everybody's walking into ungrounded territory. Nobody really knows. So I think everybody is trying to find their grounds and figure out what's best for them. And so it definitely probably contradicts some things, but in reality, we're all just trying to find our way.
Yeah, I know we're all trying to find a way, but I just don't think that people should be, whether you agree with it or not, I don't think anybody should be forced to put anything in their body they don't want in their body. That's my personal opinion. Agree with me or don't agree with me. That's just how I personally feel. I think it should be a choice. It's your health. It's your choice. And I'm sticking to, what I personally feel. It's a choice. And I don't think it's the government should be telling you to do it. And I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but that's just how I feel, so I'm a believer that I believe in the Second Amendment, and I believe in the freedom of putting what you put in your body, and I'll just leave it there.
Well, Terry, the good thing about that is that David Perez is here, so you don't have to worry too much. because we know David. David, she and I get into these conversations like this, and sometimes we yell at each other, and she goes, she does. I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet.
Well, I mean, it's like somebody's not going to agree with me. I think this is healthy to be at a debate, and we're at a really, really tough time right now in this country. I think that everybody needs to stay healthy. I personally think that if they're going to that everybody should be COVID tested that goes to these events. That way we know no one has COVID because vaccinated people are still getting it. That's my personal opinion. I think everybody in the event should be COVID tested, and that would solve the problem. But, no one cares what I think. But anyway.
I care what you think nonstop.
Yeah.
Hey, she's on Angela, she's on a roll, isn't she? She's making me laugh.
Well, I mean, it's uncomfortable for people to another thing that's crazy about today, and the reason people get fights, it's uncomfortable for people not to agree with each other. I don't know why some people can't just talk about things without no, you have to think this way. Not everybody's going to think the same way. So to force everybody to think the same way, it's not going to work. I mean, I'm older, so, whatever. I'll just, put it out there. I'm Generation X. Generation X, we don't care. This is how we are, So.
That's funny. You see, and I'm an in-betweener.
What?
That's funny. I said I'm an in-betweener.
Well, Generation X was, we were kind of rebels, so that's just my
and that's why I'm a Cavalier and a Vanguard. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, David, when it comes to movie stuff like this, we've got the Oscars Obviously, next year, I mean, what is it? Super Bowl is what, 2 days after
February.
Valentine's Day, I believe. We got a lot of stuff going on next year that people have to be concerned about because it's a different world, obviously. New stadium, things like that. Um, a lot of the parties, because I've been checking with some of the hotels and things like that, are still kind of being very careful. A lot of places are still understaffed. And I think that's a big, huge concern. I think you guys are seeing this too. It makes your job a little bit tougher too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a big challenge right now. I think with unemployment kind of they stopped that extra federal money for the unemployment. That may help because, like you said, everybody's understaffed from restaurants, hotels. We lost a few people. We've kept a lot of people, but we lost a few people. We're fortunate right now. We had to go on a hiring spree a few months ago. And like you said, the staffing issue is definitely hitting the stadiums. SoFi Stadium, they're understaffed. All the local stadiums are understaffed.
I've also been seeing a lot more fan activity, a lot more fans fighting. And either it's just coming up on social media more. Are you guys seeing this too, David? Or is it just me seeing it?
It's
Well,
happening.
well, when you add alcohol and you add an equation, you add cheering for different teams, you're going to have
Yes.
fights.
Yep.
If you put us all in a room right now, we drank for the next 2 or 3 hours, and we start arguing about stuff, we're probably going to be pulling each other's hair, you know? But I think, for the most part, sure, there's been these, high profile, fights that have gone on for a while. They showed on TV and the news. And, I don't want to say these are one offs, but I would say for the most part, and I attend a lot of sporting events. I went to 6 Dodger games this past year. I saw people actually being a lot nicer to each other, honestly. Um, Normally, when you went to Dodger Stadium, as safe as Dodger Stadium could be, it was still kind of a rowdy type of place. But when I went this past year, I actually felt people are actually a lot nicer. Everybody was trying to be nice to each other because we all been locked up for the past year. And I think with everybody being out, they were actually everybody was kind of appreciating the human interaction. And I actually saw a lot less nonsense, even though there's that stuff still does occur, but I saw a lot less of it from my point of view.
Well, so Angelica, you're in Houston, you're in the state of Texas. There's all kinds of wacky things going on in Houston, isn't there?
Yeah, so in Texas, you can carry. Everybody's packing here. Everybody's packing. So I mean, the old ladies are packing. So what's happening in Texas is what's really out of control. I would say is road rage here. I mean, don't cut somebody off, don't piss somebody off because they literally will pull the gun out of their glove compartment and shoot at you. So there's a lot of road raging. Obviously, here in Texas, we have human trafficking. We're right next to the border. So, drug dealing is at an all-time high. When people are stuck at home, it's like all their vices came out. So like drug dealing, pedophiles, they were stuck at home. And so what ended up happening was all their addictions kind of exacerbated and kind of went rampant. And so, with the DEA and all that, it was like just more and more drug dealing, more human trafficking. And so being a border state, it comes with the territory. So, I mean, there's all types of crime here. And then it never stops. It will never stop.
Hey, Roxy, will you show the image that you have for macrame meals and then for Popper and Barkley, please? And one of the reasons I wanted to show that because it's, I've been having a little bit more aches and pains, but also, Terry, I got to get back into eating correctly too. So obviously we don't have Linda Steele on this week, but we got to show macrame meals, why it's good, what she and Kendall are doing in Chicago for that. Because I want this Thanksgiving, I want to have this stuff. I'm going to have it sent to me. And they've got plenty more things coming. So I plan on having these things, which will be good. And then obviously Popper and Barkley, we have that. So 15% off on any of those things. So we need pain relief. That's never going away, obviously. And then we have, go ahead, Terry.
I have a plug for Papa and Barkley. My boyfriend's an orthopedic surgeon. He stands all day long. He came home from surgery. I put that on his back. He was like, "Oh my God, that stuff's amazing." So if a surgeon's telling you that stuff works, it works. So that's my plug for them tonight.
See, and yeah, when she told me that last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm like, oh, that's what it's about. I have to start talking about it again because I need some more product. And then the other thing was, the Dream River Artist Ranch. We have a new logo, and it's one of those things. Our
Yes.
fundraiser is going on, and it's about the butterflies. So, David, when you come up sometime late next year, this is what our ranch will look like. That butterfly, it
Nice.
connects, and you see the M and the W there, but that's actually a butterfly too, and it's in Mariposa.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice. I can't wait.
Well, I can't wait either.
I
So
know.
like I said, we're working on security of what the gate needs to look like and everything like that because it's very, very important. And again, I'm thinking of the things that David said because we have to be careful of these things. Angelica, give your social media links and talk about your book. Go ahead.
So Angelica Robles 28 is my Instagram. It's easy to find me. I post all types of fun stuff, stories, travel. I travel like crazy. The book is dropping on the 16th of November. You can go and get a pre-sale copy at www.angelicaroblesofficial.com. And I'm just excited for it. We're down to the wire. We're going to be doing a live show. Brian is reading the book now, so he gets to peep it before everybody else does. So I'm excited. It's going to be a big eye opener because everybody's dying to know how it ends. So, and the funny thing is, it's my life. It's all true stuff that happened. So yeah.
Angelica, you need to send me a copy. I need to read it.
Yes, I will send you a copy.
And Roxy, talk about your show on Monday nights, RA Nation.
Okay. RA Nation is where we are trying to build a community where we're going into this new virtual world with music, and everybody's kind of on a new page as well. We don't know what we're doing after the COVID hit, so we're just trying to grow together, learn together. Also want to throw out my other business is standoutserpents.com. We are reptile breeders, and we have a lot of options. So if you're looking for a new pet, the exotic type, you come to us. We're standoutserpents.com.
It looks like there's one crawling over your shoulder. Oh, I'm sorry, that's your hair.
No, but
you should have brought one on the show. I would have loved that.
My show Monday night, I had a snake wrapped around my neck the entire time, and he got up on my headphones.
Oh,
it was
awesome.
so cute. It was adorable.
Terry, go ahead.
Adorable.
My social media is at terrymarieofficial.com. I'm working with Carl, who works with us, where I'm revamping my social media. We did a photo shoot at the beach on Sunday. As you all know, I'm in the new Wicked Kid Star video. I think their album is going to be released pretty soon. I'll let you know when that drops and when the video drops. Brian, we need to show that next time, just the teaser of the video. And what else? Oh, I'm working on my artwork.
It's actually pretty good. I'm actually
really
impressed.
good.
My artwork? Oh, well, that's gonna I will.
At least she's talented at something. At least, you know.
I'm talented at a lot of things. Anyway, I will be unveiling that pretty soon. It's going to be an NFT artwork, but that's in the works right now. So there you go. And then Terry Marie Nonstop on all my social media.
See, David, she's gotten much, much better. She's not putting everything out there, where she's going, who she's angry at. She's not starting fights on social media anymore, and she leaves the room and they're still fighting 10 minutes later.
Oh my God.
She's gotten better because I said, remember, David told you about this stuff, Terry. I don't want, we got to keep your future stalkers away. Thank you, Teresa.
Well, it's, I'm a Leo and I'm Scotch
That's no
Irish.
Excuse.
I'm Leo and I'm Scotch Irish and I'm Generation X. I'm sorry. Anyway.
All right, David, talk about why Omega International Group is important for those people who are just tuning in late or see this later.
Yeah, for Omega International Group, we do everything from personal protection, executive protection, estate protection, investigations. We just added drones into our fleet. So we're actually, this past year, we're got some drone pilots. Safety is paramount nowadays. So if you're looking for a safe and comfortable security firm, go to omegaint.us. You can look me up on LinkedIn. Just Google Omega International Group or David Perez, and you can find me.
And you won't find David on anything else but LinkedIn. And there's a reason for that. And I never forgot that he said that. And that's why you don't see me posting anything except for our shows on it. because I learned from David on that. And so, hey, I want to thank everybody from coming on today's show. Obviously, Roxy, we couldn't do this without her. And Angelica for popping in. And thanks for being able to get here, because that's important, because you are in Houston, the wild, wild west of Houston. And Terry, thanks for popping on and giving you 2 cents, because that's all it is 2 cents. But, it was good. I agree with it. And David Perez, thank you so much. It's an honor to know you as a friend and the things that you're doing. And again, we are going to be one of your clients, movie reviews and more. So that'll be good. So as I say with everybody, thanks for everybody who's been chiming in around the world. Roberto, international best-selling author who has Mark. I saw Michelle on there, Teresa Sapman, I said Sapman in marketing entertainment. And for that, as I say, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. And if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.